Welcome to Team 8 from Section 007's Time Management Tool, presented to you by Micah Lang, Peyton Young, Vivek Biru, and Zelen Lee. Our direct users for this project are Tony Orr, majoring in Industrial Engineering, Utkarsh Thakur, majoring in Mechanical Engineering, Chris Loringer, majoring in Electrical Engineering, and Arud Madaka, majoring in Mechanical Engineering. The purpose of this GUI is to provide insight into team dynamics by providing a group with the ideal time slot for which to meet. Now we will look over the overarching flow of the GUI. Starting in the opening GUI, we have a linear path to the user input screen number 1. Similarly, it's a linear path to the next input screen. This is similar in nature to the rest of the user input screens. While linear in nature, we still have the ability to return to the opening GUI through the use of a home function. Now we will look at the flowcharts of each individual GUI. Here on the opening GUI, we see that the user has the ability to exit or move to the next screen, as well as the ability to look at class information or the citations through the use of their associated functions. Here on the Citations GUI, we see that the user can see the displayed text and has the ability to move back through the exit or back buttons and their associated functions. Here on the user input screen number 1, we see that the user has the ability to input data and then move forward or backward using the next, help, or home buttons and their associated functions. Here we have the user input screen number 2, where the user has the ability to input data and then move on through either the back button, help button, or the next button. Here on user input screen number 3, the user has the ability to input data, which stores it in a matrix, and then exit, move forward through the next function, go home using the home function. Here we have the user input screen number 4, where the user has the ability to input data or move to different GUIs through the exit, next, or home commands. Here we have the help GUI, which allows the user to see help files. Here we see the second help GUI, which has a similar purpose as the first help GUI. Here we have the class information screen, which displays text and allows the user to return back to the opening function. Here we have the calendar, which is the final output of the GUI, which displays the output from the previous GUI functions and allows the user to exit or return back to the previous screens.
Hello, welcome to our demonstration of Team 8's GUI for time management. You can open it by typing in GUI_project_007_08. Upon opening it, you can click Class Information, leads you to all the class info. Click back, and it takes you to the citations for all of the materials that we've borrowed for this presentation. And then you click Press to Begin to start. On the next screen, you can input your preferred meeting date and insert your preferred meeting time. If the user needs further assistance, they can click Help for further help, and then you go back, and then you click Next to go to the next. On this screen, you can input the date that the selected assignment is due, meeting details for the upcoming meeting, the meeting type, and the meeting length. And there's also a Help if you want to go to there. And then you can click Next to advance to the next screen. The third screen, you select what users need to attend the upcoming meeting, and then click Next. The user input screen number 4, you select the boxes that the user cannot attend the meetings at the specific times, and then you advance. And this final screen is the output, and it displays the meeting type, the due date of the assignment, what time you will meet in military time, and the meeting details that you entered back on slide 2. And on all of these, there's a back to go back to the last slide, a home, and then an exit. The home is featured there, and there's the exit.
This is the opening page for our GUI. On this opening page, you will notice there's an exit button in the top right corner used to exit the GUI. In the bottom left-hand corner, there's a class information button used to show the class information of this GUI. Shown in front of you is the rubrics for this class. Upon hitting the back button, you move back to the opening GUI and allowing you to make a new selection, such as the citations button, which shows you all of our citations for this project.
On the user's input screen number 1, there's a drop-down menu for inserting the preferred meeting date. There's an edit text box for inserting the 24-hour formatted preferred meeting time. There is an exit, which will close the GUI. Next, which will advance to the next slide. Home, which will take you back to the very first home screen. And then a help feature. The help will open a secondary GUI, which has a screenshot of the drop-down featuring a properly formatted drop-down selection, and then a time featuring a properly formatted time selection. This also has an exit and then a back. Going back takes you to here, you reselect what you selected, and then you go next.
On the user input screen number 2, there's a drop-down menu to input the due date, and then the text box to include the meeting details, a drop-down menu to input the meeting type, and a last drop-down menu to input the meeting length. On the screen features an exit button, a next button which will just advance to the next screen, a back button which will go to the previous screen, a help button in case you might need help, and a home button which will move to the first screen.
In this screen, there are 4 checkboxes which corresponding to each user, and the user just need to click on the checkbox to select who needs to attend the meeting. And there is an exit button which you can close the GUI, and there is a back button which you can go back to the previous screen, and there's a home button which take you to the first screen, and then you can click next to the next screen.
So here we have the user input screen number 4, and this is basically a calendar of the entire week broken down by hours for all 4 group members. So in the first column is the checkboxes for user number 1, and then the second checkbox, it's all the inputs for the second user, and so on and so forth for all 4 users. So on this screen, you would select the times when you cannot meet, similar to the CatMe activity at the beginning of the semester. And after selecting the days you cannot meet, you would hit the next button to continue. Also on this page is the home button to take you back to the first slide, the back button to take you back to the previous slide, and the exit button to end the GUI. Here is the calendar page, which is the final output of our GUI. Shown in the top left is a static text showing the meeting type that was previously selected. On the top right is the due date that was selected. In the bottom left is the meeting details, also previously inputted. And the bottom right is the calculated meeting time that would be optimal for all group members based on their inputs on the previous page. Notice in the top right there's the exit button as before. In the bottom right there's the home button as before. And in the middle there's a back button.